Hello, everyone. I'm just coming on, y'all. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the founder, Robert Morris, at the former pastor at Gateway, where he was the founder of Gateway Church. And now, some many years ago, I think he was in his 20s, early 20s, and he started messing around with a little, with a 12-year-old, and she constantly was trying to get some type of relief, but he wouldn't necessarily acknowledge it. He made mention that okay, he had an adulterous affair, and some years ago, but technically that's really not what this is. Um, you have an affair with an adult, right? You don't have an affair with a child. So he wasn't really honest about how old the person was, right? He was just saying that he had an affair. Well, technically that's not true. It was a you were a 21 year old that was messing with a 12-year-old. And what I'm saying to you, I think a 20-year-old 21-year-old, they just don't have sense. And I'm not saying this is no excuse for them. I'm just saying emotionally, they're just not, a lot of them doesn't think right. There is some level of, um, there is some level of immaturity, right? So, y'all, if y'all hear some noise in the background, they're building something up, on the side here. But he was a child himself emotionally. He might have been in age wise. He's being held responsible because they saw him as an adult. Um, but he knew he had to know even as a 21 year old, 22-year old that this was just wrong to do with someone at 12, 13, 14, and 15 years old, because I think it went on for some years, 4 or 5 years. And so now, what's surprising to me is that how they can use, in Oklahoma, because he was not a resident in Oklahoma, they can charge him with the crime. So in Texas, the limitation has ran out, but not in Oklahoma because he was not a resident of Oklahoma, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't know that law existed. So let's listen here what the news has to say. Yeah, let me see if I can turn this thing up. Let's see what they have to say here.
High profile case playing out here. Robert Morris, the founder of Gateway Church in North Texas, surrendered to authorities in Oklahoma. He is out of jail on bond right now, but we do have Doug in the newsroom. And I know, Doug, you've been tracking the newest developments in this case today. What are we learning?
Well, the biggest, of course, Nicole, something we've all been talking about since last week. He's going to turn himself in, and that finally happened today. So the next steps have been taken. Today, though, brings a far different picture of Mr. Morris compared to the video that we've been airing of the former senior pastor of Gateway Church. This now, the mugshot of Morris.
Y'all, imagine at that age, something you did in your 20s. Now you have to come back and, you have to come back and you have to pay for it 20 something, I mean, so many years later. I mean, that man is old. I mean, his days, um, are numbered. And I think let me tell you what issue that I have with this. And this is not with Cindy. I pray that Cindy, um, uh, has reached out to counseling, which I think she has. I hope that she's healed. I hope this does not scar her for the rest of her life. But I had issues with Cindy parents because they knew this was illegal back then, and they didn't go press charges. And I'm not sure why they did not press charges. And now this is not on Cindy because Cindy was not there to take care of herself. That's what her parents' responsibility. And her parents, as far as I'm concerned, failed her back then, because then they should have reported it to the cops that that's what happened. And they did. And if they did, I know nothing about it. I don't see any information about it. If y'all see any information about that, they reported it to the cops. Then y'all put the link in so I can see it. But I had issues with that. that this was not taken care of back then. Because I think he still could have recovered from that. So let's finish listening.
Released by the Osage County Sheriff's Office earlier today. Morris, we know, surrendered early this morning, and according to jail documents, spent about an hour or so being processed. And then as part of it, he was able to be released on $50,000 bond, which he posted. He did have to surrender his passport as part of this agreement. Also, a multi-county grand jury indicted Morris last week on 5 counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child. And Morris's attorney did decline to comment on the charges. We did ask, but they have been brought through Cindy Clemishire. She is the woman who has accused Morris openly of sexually abusing her multiple times back in the 1980s. She says she is, in fact, the victim referred to in the indictment. She told us that last week. And she says she was just 12 years old when Morris was a traveling evangelist, staying with her and her family, according to the Attorney General's office through the paperwork. Clemishire told us last week that she was in the courtroom when the indictments were announced, and told us that she is grateful that authorities are now pursuing the case. And during services, by the way, Saturday and yesterday, we were listening in. Gateway Church did.
Listen, I thought Gateway Church did a phenomenal job. When those that did not know this, when they found out, they did the proper protocol and how they were very transparent. And of course, you guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the church is not as packed as it used to be. But you notice, I thought Gateway did a very good job with transparency. They got rid of the, I think, 3 board members that knew about it, knew that the girl was 12, and they refused to talk. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think sometimes church people are some of the worst people to deal with what truth really is. They will tell a woman to stay in an abusive relationship, all about submission. I mean, they just twist the scripture. I mean, they knew that this girl was 12 years old, and what they should have done was say, "Hey, man, I think you need to reconcile that with her. And if she's saying that you can no longer preach again and that kind of stuff, you should not go. You should not go back to preach. Whatever whatever she wanted, I think he should have given it to her. If he should have paid for her counseling sessions and all of that. But I think the way that Gateway Church handled it was phenomenal."
Acknowledge the indictment of Morris, their former leader. Leaders of the church right now said that Gateway is not involved in the investigation since Morris resigned last year. However, they say that they are praying for everyone who is affected. So that catches all of us up on what's happened. So the big question now, what's next? Morris scheduled to be in court in Oklahoma. It's going to be Friday, the 9th of May. So just under 2 months from now, that'll be his initial appearance in court. His attorney expects Morris to plead not guilty. According to the
So he's going to plead not guilty, but I'm trying to figure out, well, what is it you're not guilty about? Because you cannot think that a 12-year-old is going to be responsible for you messing with her. Because even if she was coming on to you, you should have told her father. And you could have gone to report it to the police. So they couldn't turn around and say, no, it's the other way around. Now, that's just my 2 cents.
The Oklahoma Attorney General, by the way, Morris could face up to 20 years in prison for each of the 5 charges if he, in fact, is found guilty. So that's what happened today, and what's coming around the corner, Nicole.
Yeah, a lot that we're going to be watching, especially since the victim in this case self-identified from those documents. And we've got a date. We've got something to look forward to. So we'll be on top of it. Doug, thank you.
So, yeah, guys, I mean, that's the way I feel about. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. I was looking for my other. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get this stuff right sometimes, but I cannot get it right. I don't know what the problem is. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Let me go back to the one that I was. Is this it? I think it's this one, y'all. So yeah, y'all, I'm sorry that I'm messing around with this thing. But yeah, anyway, I gotta figure this out. Anyway, yeah, so I have issues with um, you know, this whole thing. Let me try this one time. Let's see what happens. Okay. I have a whole issue with um this not guilty plea, because if the child came on to you, like I said a few minutes ago, you should immediately told the dad. Immediately. I don't know, y'all. Something about something. I don't know how I feel about that, but we're gonna keep up on the story. But I want to come on and report on it, y'all, real quick. All right. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.